Hey, sorry to interrupt the sermon you were listening to. This is live at the WJHV studio at Faith Fellowship in Fairbury, Illinois. Welcome to The Project, a radio show where we talk about our daily lives, how we are God's projects, and possibly get to your guys' questions. I'm John Bechtel.
I'm Kytela.
I'm Justin.
I'm Matt Harkey.
Today we're going to be talking about youth in general, and we'll kick it off with...
I say we talk about the dictionary definition of youth first. Youth is the time of life when one is young, or especially when the period is between childhood and maturity, or it's also the early period of existence, growth, or development. But I kind of want to talk about what youth means to you guys, so we'll start out with John. What does youth mean to you?
Well, when I think of youth, I think of like annoying little kids, and just how young they are. I think with the Y beginning and the Y in young, how they kind of correlate there.
All right, Kytela.
I just think of childlike innocence.
Justin.
I kind of think about like a lot of change.
Yeah, I think that's what I would go towards too, because I think when I kind of all of yours together, like a child is really innocent, and as it grows older, it changes a lot.
Yeah, it's like an evolution of starting from a child to an adult. The youth stage is becoming a child to an adult, and all the trials someone will face during that time.
Exactly. To kick it off, since we're all teenagers here, let's find out what you guys think is the best part about being a teenager.
Oh goodness, I'd have to say probably just the socialization and how people trying to fit in, but really we're supposed to stand out, and people finding their identity in things, and like how we should find identity in Christ, and that exploration is a crazy adventure.
I totally agree with what he said. It's the time for you to try out new things in life and find who you are as a person, and to stand out like the Bible tells us to, and be a voice to others.
Justin.
Freedom.
Nice.
Good simple answer. America.
I'd personally have to say just the lack of responsibility. Like, we don't have to worry about things.
Until you're 18.
Well, okay. Like, our parents now, they harp on us about, we need to learn how to be responsible and stuff. But honestly, we don't have that much responsibility. Like, I'm going to college next year, and that's kind of scary. And after college, I have to worry about, like, bills and finances and budgets. And I don't even want to think about that right now.
It is a bit scary. Like, it's a big shadow that you're going to have to, like, face. It's scary.
Okay, now that we got that question out of the way, what's the worst thing about being a teen?
The hormonal rage that we go through. OMG.
Definitely.
OMG.
Yes, I said OMG.
I would go with like the stress that comes with school and trying to get all your grades up and to satisfy your parents, which is very stressful in my household, let me tell you.
Justin, what do you think?
It'd probably be the start of a job and just, I don't know, like having to start to pay your own bills after high school gets kind of hard.
Yeah, that's very true. I personally think that the worst thing is just that sometimes you just aren't respected from older people because they think that you can't do things just because you're younger. And that's a big part of society today, that people think that you have to go through college in order to have a job or a good job. And kids can do these things too. Like, your life doesn't start after you graduate from college. Your life can start, or per se start whenever you want it to, especially when you're young.
Yeah, teenager years is quite an adventure.
All right, now to lighten things up a little bit, I have another question. What is the most embarrassing thing that you did as a little kid? John, what did you do as a little kid?
I love how we always start over here. When I was, I'd say, 5 or 6, we were at the public swimming pool right next door, actually. And I was going off the diving board for one of the first times. And so I jump in the pool, and I'm swimming through the water. I'm like, yeah, I just jumped off the diving board. I felt good about myself. And I keep swimming, and I turn around, and I see my trunks floating behind me. It's floating above the water. I'm like, oh, it was probably one of the hardest times to put your swim trunks on, is when you're trying to float in deep water and put swim trunks on at the same time.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty embarrassing. Kytela, you have one?
Oh my. One time I was on a college visit with my older sister, and we were just walking around, and we end up in the library, and like right in the front of the library, there's like a foyer area. And I guess I was really young and I couldn't really hold it, so I wet my pants. So there's like a stain there still to the day because I couldn't get up the stain. So my mom pointed out anytime we used to visit my sister. So yeah, I left my mark.
Which library is that at?
Olivet. Yeah,
Oh, I was hoping it was nearby. So
Road
we'd be
trip.
like, we're gonna go see
Bear
Kytela's pea stain.
Okay, Justin.
When I was like 11 years old, my friends talked me into going down this huge hill on my bike. Well, they failed to tell me there was a ditch at the other end. So when I got to the bottom, I hit the ditch with my front tire and slid face first about 10 feet through the dirt.
Nice.
Oh my gosh! Do you have stitches or anything after that?
No, but my mom tried to carry me to the hospital and I refused to go. I told her, I was like, I'm a big boy. I don't need to go to the hospital.
You got blood dripping on your face. I'm a
You're
big boy.
mad.
I can do this.
Man.
I'll post a picture on Facebook later. I still have it.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, for me, I think the most embarrassing thing that I did, most people like didn't see it. I think probably only my mom saw it. But when I was little, Josh and I, my brother Josh, we were in the backyard and we decided that we're gonna like role play. So we were cows and we actually ate the grass that was in the backyard and we mooed like cows. So nobody really saw us do that, but that's kind of something I can tell my friends, and that's kind of embarrassing.
And now it's on the radio and everyone's heard it.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Harkey is a cow.
I am a cow.
You'll never live this down.
That's awesome. Okay. You have. I have one last question for all of you. Describe your senior year of high school in just a few sentences. Now, Kytela can't do this because she hasn't been a senior yet. You can do freshman year if you want. You could do junior year since you're in the middle of it right
Oh yeah,
now.
I'll do junior year.
Okay, so John, start with your senior year.
Well, my senior year started off weird. I was living by myself in the house that we live in right now. My family does live there now, by the way. But I lived home alone for the first and second quarter of the school year. So I was living the bachelor's life, kind of, and learning responsibility pretty fast. And learning that I need to actually make time for homework, and I can't always do it last minute, because I would stay up. Bedtime for me was around 3 a.m. I'd be doing homework. I'd start homework around midnight and work from 3 a.m. on homework. And then wake up at like 7:50 and go to school.
Nice.
It was a good thing I had PE in the morning, so I could basically go to school and shower after PE.
Yes. Yes. All right, Kytela.
Well, junior year, I don't know. It's a lot of testing, and all your hard classes are basically just mashed into junior year. And I made the mistake of doing like all honors courses and high math classes and whatnot. So like I have like hours of homework every night, except for tonight, which is awesome, I guess. But it's completely stressful. And then I have my ACT really soon. And then beginning of this year, we had like this snow phase, and we missed a lot of school. So I was swamped with even more homework. And yeah, junior year, a lot of stress.
What did we have, like 7 snow days this year?
Yeah.
We had not enough snow days. I wish we had.
Not enough.
I wish we had more, yeah. I mean, we
We
were all
should be able to
complaining at the
make them
beginning of
up.
the year that we, like, remember last time PC got a snow day? Neither do I. And then we get like 7 snow days.
Okay, I have to make up these snow days. You guys can just leave May 16th.
Well, 75% of us don't have to make that up, so that kind of stinks for you.
Okay, Justin. The only graduate here. What was your senior year like?
Well, looking back at it now, it was probably, I thought I knew where I was going, what I was doing, took all the classes that I needed to, took some blow-off classes. But looking back now, it's like you really don't know where you're going after high school. Like, I told myself, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be a teacher. That's it. And now it's like, yeah, I don't feel like being a teacher. I'll change my mind. You'll change your mind many times, senior year and after.
All right. For senior year, for me, it's been a great, exciting experience being a role model in the school that the freshmen and the underclassmen can look up to. I've really liked that role because I know that they need somebody to look up to positively. Also, one of my favorite things about the school year is the snow days because we don't have to make up those days, and I'm very excited about being able to be at home instead of at school.
In the nice weather, while they're all still in school, making up all the snow days that we had.
Exactly.
Yeah, rub it in.
All of us out of school just go swimming.
We'll just skip school. I mean, what?
that's all the questions I have for you guys. I want to remind everybody who's listening that you can send your tweets in to hashtag Ask412 on Twitter, and we're going to try to answer your questions there. I'll keep reloading this page, so if you guys tweet it, I'll see it, and we'll try to answer it. So we'll move on to Justin. I think you have a couple questions for us. No, Justin does not have a couple questions for us. Was it John that had some questions?
Well, I got a couple serious questions. I mean,
All right, let's hear it.
Ooh, serious. It's gonna get.
well, like questions like, is it sinful to get a tattoo?
Ooh.
I mean, to me, I don't think it is, but other people argue it is. I want to hear y'all's opinion on that.
Sinful to get a tattoo.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Okay. Where in the Bible does it say that it's sinful?
In Leviticus, it's talking about God's people, like all these laws that they have to do, and it says, do not cut yourself or get tattoos, basically. But that's in the Old Testament. It
Exactly.
says that.
So when I kind of think of the Bible, I think of it as two parts, and a lot of stuff that's in the Old Testament is like no longer in effect because of what Jesus did and what he did on the cross. So a lot of things that were laws back then don't affect things that and how we live them today. So I personally don't think that tattoos is a sin. Like, for example, Justin has a tattoo on his forearm, and Justin, you want to read off what your tattoo says?
It says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me," Philippians 4:13.
And I don't think that's a sin. I don't think that God would have a problem with Justin putting that on his arm to remind him, every day that he can do anything through Christ. So I personally, I don't think it's a sin. Justin, I think he probably would.
I really don't think it's a sin. I do think, though, that you should really, if you're going to get a tattoo, make sure it's for the right reason. Don't just be like, "Ooh, that's a cool tattoo, I'll get that." You need to make sure that you have a story behind it, because people start asking you, and you can't just be like, "I liked it, so I got it."
Yeah, you need to have a good intent.
Yeah, and
Reason.
that's a good reason.
Like it's kind of with the in Corinthians it says all things are permissible, but not everything is beneficial. So we have the freedom, quote unquote, to do whatever we want, but being a Christian, not everything is beneficial to do. I mean, and it isn't wise to do, and that's when it comes like to a tattoo. Would it be wise to have this tattoo? Like with Justin's case, it's a wise decision. I mean, it's got a verse on there. It's a good
Conversation
leading into a
starter.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, leading into some sort of ministry. But I mean, there's some tattoos people get that's just insane. It's like, okay, that was dumb. Why'd you get that?
That's very true. Some tattoos that I've seen are very inappropriate. I don't think
Yes.
that those tattoos are
And like anyone
healthy.
can see them, they're blatantly put out on your body. And
Exactly.
Children.
It's kind of just like the clothes that you wear sometimes, in a way, because the clothes that you
Yeah.
wear project, like in a way, it projects your views. It projects like how you feel about yourself,
You wanna
how
be
you respect
perceived.
yourself, and how you respect others. So that I can ask a question about that. What do you think that how should teens stop dressing, or how should they start dressing?
I don't think we should tell people how to dress. I just think we should be modest. Like for girls, that's a really big deal, like dressing modestly, because nowadays short shorts and all that stuff is really popular. But to an extent, we need to be able to respect our bodies and yeah.
Sometimes I feel like they just need to be pushed back into their house until they change into the correct
Yeah.
attire.
They come out, nope, turn around, change again.
Yep.
Yeah.
To me,
In my opinion, I think that clothing is a great way to give respect to yourself and just let others know who you are. And I think that clothing should really be limited. Like, you shouldn't express yourself exactly, especially if like you have inappropriate things on your shirts or something like that. You shouldn't be expressing yourself in that way. But it's a really good way to express yourself healthily.
I mean, if a girl is not dressing modestly, it's not just reflecting on them bad, but it's also putting men into temptation.
Yeah.
And people who are got men who are struggling with that area. I mean, it puts them into temptation, and then it's just
Opens up a whole thing.
yeah.
Just complicates everything.
All right, so clothing is really a big part of what happens, especially at the school. I have a verse. I have Psalms 119:9. It says, "How can a young man keep his way pure? By guarding it according to your word." What do you guys think about that verse?
Well, it's like being diligent in the word and actually applying what the word you get from the word. If you apply that to your daily life, you will become successful. It says something like that in Joshua. I can pull it up in a minute. But yeah, Justin, what do you think about that verse?
Justin?
What was the verse again?
All right, the verse was Psalm 119:9. How can a young man keep his way pure? By guarding it according to your word.
I would have to say that I think a lot of men do know. I feel like a lot of people do kind of know that, like, in their own sense, like, oh, I need to make sure I don't do this because it's a sin to God. But then a lot of people decide to go ahead and do stuff and just tell themselves, oh, it's okay, I'll just repent for this next week or tomorrow.
Yes, that's very true. That is a problem that a lot of young men deal with, and I personally deal with it too. All right.
And what guy doesn't do?
Exactly. So it says, how can a young man keep his way pure? And that's saying, how can a young man avoid sin? How can a young man live for God? And it's saying you need to guard it according to God's word. And you can guard it according to the word, and the only way you can do that is by reading the Bible. And you have to read in order to understand what God is saying. All right, I have another verse. It's Ecclesiastes 11:9. Rejoice, O young man, in your youth, and let your heart cheer you in the days of your youth. Walk in the ways of your heart, in the sight in your eyes. What do you think about that?
That's a long verse.
Yes.
It's kind of hard. Like I kind of forgot half the verse because it was such a long one. But what I was reminded of was in Joshua 1:8 was it says, "Study this book the book of instruction, aka the Bible, continually. Meditate on it day and night, so you will be sure to obey everything written in it. Only then will you be prosperous and succeed in all that you do." So, like,
Awesome.
to be successful in everything you do, to guard your heart from sin and all that, if you meditate on the Bible day and night, and that doesn't exactly mean 24/7 reading in your Bible and praying intensely. I mean, think on good thoughts. Like it says, think on whatever is good, think on whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, and all those other ones I can't exactly remember at the moment.
All right.
But yeah.
Okay, so we do have a response from a listener. He said, people should express themselves however they please. Whether you think it's appropriate or not, it's their choice. Don't judge them. It's not your place. I think, personally, I'm saying that as Christians, we need to express ourselves in a healthy manner. And so, we need to do that appropriately. Appropriate would be not curse words on your shirts or not, provocative, women on your shirts. That shouldn't be something you're wearing.
So what you're saying is, like, people like certain music, so they buy their shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
You're saying that that's not provocative, or, like, that's okay to wear. I feel like as long as you're covering yourself up and you're not, like, throwing yourself under the bus with what you're wearing, I think it's fine. Like, some people that wear, like, let me just throw the middle finger up on my shirt and
Exactly.
every word in the book.
That's not appropriate. If you want to express yourself as a Christian, that's not an
Yeah.
appropriate
Yes.
thing to be doing.
And we're already put under a lot of pressure to be perfect, I guess. But the way we dress does somewhat kind of perceive how we are in, like, our walk with Christ and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. I also have another response. He's asking, I have a question for the radio station. How do you all feel about piercings and how people dress? So this kind of has to do a little bit with tattoos.
Yeah.
So he's saying, I'm guessing from the question, like, do we think that piercings is a sin in a way because we asked if tattoos was a sin? So do you guys think piercings is a sin?
No, I have earrings.
Yeah, like, it's just kind of the same thing with tattoos, with clothing, with really whatever. It's as long as it's wise that you have it and it's not like it won't turn away people from you, or that's a bad way to say it. Okay, piercings. You can get them. I I've thought about getting a piercing, but then again, that idea was quickly shot out of my head.
So, well, I feel like piercings are okay, but sometimes people go too far with their piercings. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's an opinion.
But that's your own choice. It
I
doesn't really
understand.
directly. It doesn't have like words or sayings that go out to people. It's just piercing. So
yeah.
it's whatever appeals to you. There's no Christian way to tell you not that you shouldn't have piercings.
Right. I know that goes under the lines of like cutting yourself in a way, but at the same time, you're covering it up. It's not like you're just like.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one last verse, and this verse is very familiar to us. It's 1 Timothy 4:12. Let no one despise you for your youth, but set the believers an example in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. And our youth group is Project 412, and the verse is 1 Timothy 4:12. So this is basically our motto, is that we want nobody to, make us feel down because we're youth, but we need to actually be leaders in our society because we are youth.
And be an example to the others. So we live out an example for others to follow. Like, we're supposed to look like, well, that's a bad way to say it. We're supposed to live our lives living for God, in faith, conduct, purity, and the rest of that verse.
Yep, that's very true. All right, I don't know if the listeners have ever heard of Reddit, but Reddit is basically the front page of the internet is what they call themselves. And there's a portion on it called Ask Reddit. Now, the question that they pose to the people on Reddit is, teens of Reddit, what is cool nowadays? So I think us being teens, we kind of know what quote-unquote cool is. So, John, what do you think is cool nowadays?
Right now, there's a popularity in music right now where dubstep is becoming popular, rap music's really popular, pop music. It was on the incline in the rise of the 2000s, but it's starting to go down compared to rap and dubstep. And then rock, of course, is becoming less and less popular.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I know, it's the best genre ever. Also cool, it seems to be cool that if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, that seems to be cool right now. If you're popular in school, that's cool. And I'm not promoting these things. I mean, I could honestly not care at all about popularity. But it just seems like if you don't have a boyfriend, if you're not popular, then you're not cool.
I hear swag is cool these days as well.
Hashtag selfie.
Yeah. Okay, yes, selfie is
Instagram and
one
Twitter.
of the coolest things. Okay, I'm not saying selfies is the coolest thing. I'm just saying that's like the quote-unquote coolest things nowadays.
Do you take lots of selfies, Matt?
I think you do.
Does
See your iPod.
Does Snapchat count as a selfie?
Is it your face that you're Snapchatting?
So we learned two things today. Matt's a cow, and Matt takes a lot of selfies.
Exactly.
Do you take a lot of selfies while acting like a cow?
Yes. Actually, if you get on my iPod, there's full of pictures of me with my mouth just full of grass.
Does that make you a selfish cow?
What?
Selfish.
No.
Oh, I get it.
Okay, Justin, did you say what was cool? Well, okay, since you
Said
you have
swag.
a unique perspective since you are no longer in high school.
Yes.
I don't know if you keep up with the high school drama or
Oh,
whatnot.
yeah.
But now that you're out of high school, what kind of seems to be the cooler thing for the young adults to be a part of?
For us, it's a lot of. I've heard a lot of my friends from high school. All I see on Facebook nowadays is party this, party that, which at the same time a lot of them think it's cool to go to class as well. I know that sounds weird, but they enjoy college a lot. Unlike high school, they hated going to high school, but they feel like college is more free to do what you want, so they like to go. It's weird.
Okay, that's good too, because going to class is one of the biggest struggles that college students face, because if they can go to class, usually they can do well in it, but if they don't go to class, that's where things start to go downhill. One of the responses on Reddit was that every girl I know seems to think that Frozen is the best thing since sliced
Oh my
bread.
goodness, it is.
And I've never seen it, so I
haven't seen it either.
I find
Have
it
you
really
seen
stupid.
It's not stupid. It's so cute. the whole like general idea of the movie is to show that you don't need a significant other or boyfriend or girlfriend to have love. Like at the end, to save her sister.
Hey, don't ruin the movie for me. I haven't seen it yet.
Don't do any
I'm
spoilers.
sorry. Were
No
you planning on
spoilers.
watching it?
I actually kind of
I thought we were watching.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, it's has a great message for everyone, and there's a lot of good music.
Awesome. Well, John and I have not seen it.
You should probably go home and watch
Yeah,
it
you
tonight.
should probably watch it.
Okay.
I'd watch it like 5 times this week.
All right. Some other responses on here was that Facebook is beginning to get less popular, and Snapchat and Instagram and Twitter are becoming more popular. And it also says that Big Bang Theory should not be popular. Have any of you guys ever watched Big Bang
I
Theory?
love Big Bang Theory.
I've seen it. Yes.
John, have you ever seen Big Bang Theory?
Yes, I have. My favorite character is Sheldon.
Sheldon
I
is
love how he acts.
Bazinga.
He's so smart.
Some of the comebacks become.
And it's like I think I've noticed why Facebook is becoming less popular. As the more adults get on
Adults.
Facebook,
Yeah.
the less teenagers use
Soon as
Facebook,
my
and they're all
dad
going to
got
Twitter.
That's because they feel awkward because their parents are on there, so they have to
Literally.
kill the vibe.
As soon as my dad got on there, I'm like, yeah, I'm done switching to Twitter.
And I think one of the reasons why Twitter isn't as avidly used by adults and parents is because it looks more complicated than Facebook.
Hashtag.
Like with the hashtags, like I've had to explain hashtags to.
Well, you only get
people.
140 characters too. That's kind of hard.
And that's right too. It is a little bit limited on what you can say on Twitter. I think that Twitter is more of just people explaining their everyday things, and Facebook should be used more as like long, how you express your opinions and stuff.
Yeah, about the video. Look at the camera. Don't look there, look there. Yeah, about the video not ending at the right time. We seem to have lost some of the footage and didn't get the entire show. I don't even know, somehow disappeared the last like 4 minutes of the show. But hey, tune in next week, Thursday, 7 o'clock. I think it's like April 11th, 7 o'clock, 95.1. It's for the Fairbury area. It's choppy and forest. Parts of Chinoa get it. So I mean, if you're in the Fairbury area, you'll definitely get it. But hopefully you'll be able to listen to it. See you next week.